we are losing out. We are losing out. Some states just enacted, they have limited the scope of the federal government, then they will not set up an agency. So we set up an agency, no funding. Practically, they are handicapped. They are not doing anything. Now, the Governors Forum, AGF, was sensitized on the need to domesticate. Meanwhile, adoption or domestication is the word for the international instrument where you bring it down to Nigeria to domesticate. Adoption, while they were sensitized, there are other people in the state that were saying, we have our bill, we have drafted our bill, we need to enact the bill. And then the enactments came. While KFC had issues with a person with disability, before commission could get there, Lagos State had, even with a fan, had, shut down the place. While federal government was working on the matter, before we could get to Lagos, they have already opened the place. Collaboration with fan. Now, there is a limitation of action on the part of the federal government. So, we begin to look at these things. We need to, I tell somebody, we need to sit down, stakeholders, Jonapi, everybody, we sit down and ask ourselves, what do we want? Do we want name individually? Do we want to drive this inclusion the way it should be? Or do we just want to flow with the government of the day? And when that government leaves, then you don't know where you are. Some state agencies are just, platforms for advocacy. The state agency, in collaboration with this organization, is organizing a 3-day, 1-day, 2-day seminar. Then when you still get to those states, you see that there is no enforcement. And everybody still looks at the federal government. But one or the other, you have limited the scope of the federal government. The commission is establishing zonal offices. We hope and believe that by way of memorandum of understanding, other levels of agreement, if the state can give the federal government the leeway, because the police belongs to the federal government, whether civil defense is federal government, all the agencies that you
sit down, share some of these great policies, like the regulation, as a big regulation that Pricer kept talking about. States also need to take buy-in into that. So I think through that council, that will be done. But let's go to the international community. A lot of engagements have been supported. In fact, the movement to enact the law, was broadly supported by many international development partners. And we have all the partners here, the UN, our own mommy. Thank you, ma, for joining this panel. So you have the UN resident inclusion coordinator for the UN, Office of the Resident. So can you share with us how your office or your UN generally, UN board in Nigeria is supporting both the federal and the state to improve on this disability inclusion landscape?
Thank you so much, Dr. Bacosta, and to the for wonderful research in elaboration. When I got this invite, I was really very much interested because of the theme of what we're looking at. Just to say that in my office, meanwhile, one greeting from the resident coordinator in my office as the inclusion coordinator and the office of the UN resident coordinator, we are taking very seriously the implementation of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Looking at the United Nations way of working or pushing for inclusion, the Secretary General himself in 2019 came up with the UN Disability Inclusion Strategy. So the UN Disability Inclusion Strategy works across like four pillars and three approaches. So we are looking at leadership, strategic planning and management. Another pillar is programming. Another pillar is inclusiveness. And the fourth pillar is organizational culture. Within organizational culture, our drive is to identify, expand, or people with disability, recruit and retain. So we are trying to improve visibility for people with disability within the United Nations. Now, to make this happen, we are looking at inclusivity, preparing the grounds to welcome people with disabilities into the UN. Because you can't even get into the UN if the UN is not welcoming itself. Then, in terms of approaches, we see disability inclusion from the twin track approach. So it could be a standalone thematic issue, and it could also be a cross-cutting issue. It is. Then we are using the intersectionality lens, knowing that people with disability are not homogeneous. There are a lot of characteristics, and if you try to unpack, you see a lot of intersectionality there. And most importantly, we are looking at collaboration. And this will go to the speech, the goodwill message from the senior special assistant to the president on all coaching. Collaboration it is. So the UN will work with the government to ensure that like, the implementation of the Disability Act, so the National Commission of Persons with Disability, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant, and OPDs, ministries and agencies, departments. So what we are really looking at is how you are driving your inclusion to see if it aligns also because we have also a strategy document. And having gone through this report and all the gaps that we identify and recommendation, I see that this strong point, entry point for us for collaboration. So what we want to see is if you are OPD, what is it that you're doing? Let's see your priority and how it's being set. We can support because my office will not implement, I don't implement, I will not implement. My business is to go around to see how to support people to implement what they're supposed to do. And we also do interagencies, I also do interagencies coordination, meaning that if you've identified that you can work with UN women, let us know. We see how to drive that strategic partnership. If you can work with UNICEF, let us know. So there are a lot of UN entities that you can work with. And if your program aligns with theirs, do let us know. So it's to facilitate and give you that perfect entry point to do what you're supposed to do. But I want to say that at the United Nations, we have recognized the fact that inclusion cannot take place except we are well grounded in the preconditions for inclusion. If you don't properly understand the preconditions for inclusion, you cannot jump into inclusion like that. So at the UN, we have this set of preconditions that must be taken into consideration before inclusion can even happen. And one of those is equality and non-discrimination. It's something that you must understand to the root. You must understand the implication of accessibility and inclusion. You must understand CRPD compliant financial management and budgeting. You must understand service provision from the lens of the CRPD. Now, if you don't take this very seriously, there is no way you can do inclusion if you've not addressed the conditions or the foundations for inclusion. So my submission here will be, as we begin to look at the landscape for disability inclusion in the country, let's take a step back again to understand the precondition. What is it that must be on ground? And when people understood that perfectly, honestly, it will come a little bit easier because you would have converted so many people to understanding the fact that this must happen for collective work to take place around disability inclusion. So I hope I'm not taking too much of the time, but this is what we do. And our doors are very open. We are open to collaboration, and because we can do this and will facilitate in any way, we can support to make sure that this inclusion takes place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate the inclusion coordinator, our own mommy, our own leader, Madam Ekaiti. Thank you very much, ma'am. You see, these are some of the fruits of our labor. Thank you. Now, two great things came out from what she said, and there are like opportunities. I'm sure many OPDs are here, agencies of government are here, Ministry of Labor, and so on. It's that collaboration. We need to explore opportunities for collaboration. And I think through her office, we can get a lot of support technically on how you identify the opportunities in the first place and how to engage with it. The other thing is that she has talked about the need to understand the preconditions for inclusion. And I think this is where many OPDs come in, and we're already doing a lot of work. I know Inclusive Friends is here, so many others. Inclusive Friends just is something unique around the dashboard, something on accessibility. These are great efforts that we must take forward, and there are opportunities for capacity building. Nigeria is too big for one person to handle. We need to go to the trenches. As we did advocacy, we must carry the struggle to build capacity down to the grassroots. Like our president said yesterday to the governors, he said they must start wetting the grass. That's to use his excellency's word yesterday. He said they should be pouring a lot of water on the grass, at the grassroots. So we need our business to go. We need to take, yeah, listen to it on the news, and we repeated it this morning. He said if you go wet the grass very well. So, we be in the OPD movement, we need to take this opportunity for capacity building, for sensitization, and I think these are areas where the commission and the state disability agencies can also put resources through OPDs, engage them, employ OPDs to do all this work. They have capacity. I think these are some of the takeaways. But before we round up this panel session, one question I will ask, same question to all our very distinguished panelists is, now we have this report. How do you think we can use this report? It has ranked, in fact, it not just ranked states in Nigeria, it also ranked Nigeria against other African countries using some criteria. I think that has not happened anywhere before now. So we've broken grounds on two areas. We ranked Nigeria against other African countries, and we have also ranked states inside Nigeria. So how can we take this report forward? It's going to be an annual thing. Commission has said, oh, carry it forward. Guy came is here. I'll go and knock his door next month. So how can we take this forward? I'll start with our UN John.
Okay, yes, brother, you start with me.
This is where the resources will flow from.
Okay, then, thank you, doctor. So, I think first of all, we need to popularize this report. We must popularize it. Let's raise awareness around this report. Why the report, the objective, the recommendations, as it were. Let's use the lens of let's say programming now to unpack this report. I've seen the thematic areas that are coming up. I've seen health, I've seen education, employment, and all of that. What will really make sense to me is now that we have this report and we're looking at the gaps, we can find an innovative way to match it with the Global Disability Summit commitment that the government is on health. We have gaps on health. What did you commit to? Let's be very strategic and innovative. That way we have lots of buying, because if you are speaking to me and it's of interest to me, fine, fantastic, you will get it. Let's research those on the supply side and see their minds and how to get them to have a buying. If it's going to be value added to what you're already doing, you don't need to talk too much, because you're like talking to the converted. Somebody also want to get a point on his own side. Let's speak to this report from the point of value added, unpack it, see what is ongoing, align with our national plan. Because if the report somehow disconnecting or not connecting with what is happening in the country, it's going to be difficult to be able to have buy-in. So I'm talking from the program lens, take it from the thematic areas, look at the Global Disability Summit, develop accountability mechanism for tracking, talk to them, and honestly, you will see that you just be nodding. Okay, because it's value added and it's good for everyone. So don't go speaking to a supply side actor who has no business with the thematic area you are speaking with. So we do a kind of mapping. Let's map the supply side actor, map thematic areas, unpack it, aligning it with the national plan, aligning it with the global disability summit. Then I can also support if you call me in to see how
Thank
we can
you.
unpack it. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. I'm sure Project Enable you are taking the notes. So you are seeing the connection of these thematic areas with the global summit. And all of these five areas form part of the themes that the commitment. Fortunately, I had a little hand in the development of our commitment document with the commission. So we can the commissioner said we will work with you. So let's see how we take this forward using this advice that our mom here has given to us. So I'll go to Uche. So what do you think Jonathan can do with this report? What do you think Jonathan can do with this in 1 week?
I want to thank you, sir, but 1 minute will not be enough for me. I'm a deaf person, and I need to explain and explain.
All right, no problem.
So, please give me my reasonable accommodation, please. Yes, with respect, sir.
Go
Alright,
ahead.
however, I'll try to make it 1 minute. So, from what I had said earlier, at Jonah Page, as the umbrella body of all persons with disabilities, together, our own is to always demand for our rights by carrying out advocacy to all relevant offices who have the responsibility to make sure that these five thematic areas are identified. We pay our advocacy visits to get them to know that there are gaps that needed to be closed by getting involved in our needed issues so that it can benefit everyone and that can also be captured. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very, very apt. And I just to add that I think using the structure of Jonathan, we can disseminate this report because the ranking for their states is here, and they can use this ranking to further push through advocacy for their states to improve, and for those that are doing well, for them not to, you know, relent in their efforts. So I think that's one very strong area that Jonathan can disseminate and use the report to hold state actors accountable. My senior comrade, sir, you did something similar with the page analysis. So how can we, compare those? Or what can we do together, with this report, the page analysis, and similar documents that are, in the space?
Thank you, Doc. Page analysis actually stands for stage is still that have passed, that's the P, ascended, gazetted, and enforcing the act. That's the meaning of page analysis, which we did. And thank you, Dr. Adebayo, you were very proud of that. Now, doing the combining both page analysis and the unlayering of the onion that Barry C. King just did, we just learned something now. And I want to take our mind to what is popular in Nigeria. We have federal road, state road, local government road, right? So there are federal airports, state airports, and no local government airports yet. There are federal universities, state universities, private universities, and all. There are also federal hospitals, state hospitals, and local government hospitals. Here's my idea. All federal institutions, the law will make you go there. So There's nobody that was stopping from going to Mbakwe Airport in Owerri to check if FENA is doing their work in the airport. Please don't go to government house. Or you cannot go to ask them their transportation system, which is a state issue. I think if we start this, let's not wait until it's all perfect before we start the work. I'm sure that if the commission visits a federal airport, a federal university, a federal hospital, domiciled inside a state, the news will go around. And then donor at the state level can now take it to the next level. And OPDs too can start holding them accountable. This synergy of work will make this whole thing great. I heard orientation agency is supposed to be in this room. Yeah, yeah. Madam, I spoke to Gaisa Oniyu, and I even sang for him, and I'm going to sing for you. So please, when you go back, sing my song. I'm a true Nigerian, a disabled Nigerian, an accountable Nigerian, and if by the citizens code, he says he will do it. He has not done, he has started. Please, a round of applause for my Mr. Gaisa Oniyu. I saw one of your works that had a guy on crutches. At least we've seen visuals of somebody on crutches. They are capturing disability, but can we have a standalone? So that Captain Excellence can tell the kids that people on, that there are persons with disabilities, that will promote inclusion. So, as a takeaway, please, man, this report should be adopted by the National Orientation Agency because in the Act, the Federal Ministry of Information is supposed to give us the awareness and all that. And by extension, NOAA is an extension of the Federal Ministry of Information. There's so much work to do. Yeah, we are giving us more work. So we at here will collaborate with Project Enable to see, yeah, this is some work that we need to do. And we'll take it to the next level. And thank God, director is here. Congratulations to the minister who is now the chairman of APC. But the Minister of State, Mr. Honorable Sununu, is equally capable. So there's more work for us to do. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Let's appreciate Chief. I call him Chief, and he's indeed a Chief. So let's go to, I deliberately help the commission to speak because this is our own agency where everything disability, we speak, we eat disability inclusion in that place. So we have done this. Project Enable only enabled the process. The document belongs to the commission. And you can see if once the SSA unveils it and the Honourable Minister, you will see that the foreword of that document was written by the Executive Secretary. So it's a document that belongs to the commission. So, and of course, I'm even happy that the Director of Compliance that is here and enforcement. So, guys, how are you going to enforce using this document?
Well, thank you very much. We have said a whole lot, and we are telling ourselves, the practical truth. The best truth is the one you tell yourself. This document from the remarks of the executive secretary has, taken a bold initiative to adopt this and to implement it. Now, how? With the document, by Monday, I'm going to present a memo to him that we forward this to relevant ministries and the state governors. They must know and see how the state of inclusion affects their respective states and ministries. And I'm happy that Noah is here because when you look at the ranking order of priority in the Act, you discover that immediately the Act finishes criminalizing discrimination. The next section two talked about information. Information. So when you have budget on disability information and you use it to do program in Abuja, you are not doing us justice. That money in your budget for disability inclusion, put it to media. Let media popularize disability issues. If you need content, you come to commission to get content. Or you can meet OBDs, you might meet consultants. If they are there, you pay them. They give you content. But to retire the money by just doing program is not justice to us at all. Because when the media carry that one, that one don't go. But when you have the song being sung every day for a very long time, you go far and deep. So the commission has adopted this document already, and the commission will write, with this document, areas of gap. Commission will pursue a closure, and it has to be on time before the 2025, update or reassessment will be carried out. Because if the assessment comes and is the same thing that we have already, then it shows that some people are not doing their job. But we must do our job. But one thing I want us to do here today, as OPD, as stakeholders, anytime you talk anywhere, tell the government to fund the commission adequately. You cannot fund the commission like other agencies. This is, if you have how many agencies in Nigeria, and there's only one for 35.5 million Nigerians, and 2 billion is the annual budget, and the budget it has budget lines, and personnel cost is even part of that 2 billion. So what are we talking about? So to do field work, to do anything, to do even enforcement, you need money. So, ladies and gentlemen, this document is coming at the right time. The commission has owned this document. Good thing. One of the technical aid to the executive secretary is part of it. So he cannot, do what? Support the department to be able to pursue, the adoption, compliance, enforcement of this. And again, I want to say here, there is a civil rights aspect to the act. And what does civil rights aspect mean? Individuals can sue to pursue their individual rights. I know a whole lot of people, because of high cost of litigation and other impressions, people have difficulty approaching the court in Nigeria. But we just have to say there is need for us to unbundle that civil aspect of the law. While government drives administrative and criminal aspect of the law, individuals with disabilities can as well drive it from the other side. If it comes that way, I think it will give us a faster, it will give us a faster result.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Please let me indulge me, sir, for 1 30 seconds. All those in favor of all persons with disabilities visiting National Orientation Agency for awareness and advocacy, say aye. And all those again, say nay. Madam, so this message for you must host us. That way, if you don't host us, we will come and block your secretariat door. Trust me and my big belly, I'll block that place. And you must tell us that you have hosted us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chief Chike will speak like this because he romances the National Assembly very well. So he's used to their rules and so we come to the end of a very good panel. We have heard from diverse stakeholders. The commission has owned the document and will work with it. The UN is asking for collaboration, technical collaboration. the OPDs has said, look, give it to us, we will do advocacy with it. I think we can't expect any more than this. So based on this, I want to appreciate our panelists and thank you very much for the insights you have brought to this conversation. So on behalf of Project Enable, I thank you very, very much from our mommy, Madam Ekaiti, to our chief, Ogatike, Uche, comrade, and my barrister, my director in the commission, Barrister Ake. Thank you very much to all of you. So let's appreciate the panel, please. I think I've done justice. Thank you.
Group photograph.
Yes,
Group,
please, let's take group photographs. We'll be moving on to launching the report.
Let the panel take the photo.
Yes, yes, the photographer is on his way. So after that, we would launch,
Photograph.
and then that would be the end of the event, but definitely the beginning of the journey.
No, no, no. Let me keep quiet. Don't discriminate us. Only person I can stand there.
Let's not be scared.
Can you move? That's why I'm taller than you. That condition make you feel.
Michael, can you take it?
You're good, right? Somebody say project enable. Project enable. Good.
Yes, thank you very much. To lead the launch of the document, the report, please help me welcome our very own Dr. Kola Olubodi, the chairman of the board of directors, Project Enable Africa. Please, let's appreciate our board. Oh, this is Project Enable Africa. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, so I appreciate our patience since morning, and a lot of things have been said as regards the report. And one of the things that summarizes everything the panelists have said is that we must popularize this report. We must popularize it. It's the scorecard for actually virtually all the states, and not even the state alone, even workplaces, how everybody has fared in the aspect of accessibility and employability, and even the hospitals. All right, so it's the work of every one of us. Now we get to the point of launching the State of Disability Inclusion Report in Nigeria. And the chief, I think he has stepped out. The senior, yeah. I would want him to spearhead it for us. And of course, in the course of the panel discussions also, he had some things to add. So this is the time I would love him to really do this for us. All right, so he will join us, I'm so sure, shortly. Um, all right, so I'll be taking my call to action now while we wait for the SSA to come. All right. So talking about these reports, we must take it from report to results. We want results. We just don't want a paper that we have done and that we just sit somewhere and someone say, oh, okay, so they did a good job. All right. So we want results. We want actions. And today we stand at a defining moment in our nation's journey towards a truly inclusive society. The State of Disability Report, um, Inclusive Report 2024, has done more than just diagnose our gaps. It has handed us a mirror and a map. So today we have two things: the mirror to show us what the state of things are like, and then the map, where do we go from here. It has shown us where we are, and more importantly, where we must go. But a report alone is not the solution. Action, action, and action is what we need. Let us not allow this landmark document to sit on shelves. Let it spark strategic discussions in boardrooms, trigger bold policies in government halls, inspire innovations in classrooms, and birth inclusive practices in every community. And of course, a call to action. All government agencies here present and even the ones not present. Um, we need to implement and enforce the disability law already in existence. Let inclusion be non-negotiable. Of course, to civil societies and advocacy groups, we will need to amplify the voices of the persons with disabilities. Let your work hold us all accountable. And to the private sector, you will need to invest in accessibility. Make employment and service delivery truly inclusive. And of course, to the media, tell these stories boldly. We need to popularize this report. Tell these stories boldly, compassionately, and actually consistently. Disability inclusion is not charity, it is justice. And of course, to international partners here, I can see my sister here. Challenge your mindset. Inclusion belongs in the heart, and action flows from empathy. Together, let's move from documentation to demonstration, from advocacy to accountability, and from policy to practice. This is our moment to rewrite the story of inclusion in Nigeria. Let us rise and make it happen. Thank you. That's my call to action. All right, so we move to the launch of the report now. We have our senior special advisor here, and I'm going to start with him. Thank you, sir. So, no, we are actually just starting with you. Now we have made this the podium and it's now powerful.
So are we unveiling individuals? This is something that I didn't understand. Oh. Thank you so much once again, everyone. I would like to appreciate most sincerely the panel of discussion and the moderator who exhibit the spirit of inclusion and also the representative of the ES National Commission for Persons with Disability, the inclusion coordinator, Judith, for their deliberate contribution in this panel of discussion. For us, for you, for me, to understand inclusion, we need to come together. If you look at all what we have seen here, it's talking about effective collaboration, effective coordination. We are all under
unveiling this report today is a significant milestone to the development of 35 Nigerian young persons with disability. We are all gathered here, the representative of the ministry, the office of the senior special assistant to the president, and other OPDs. We are the duty bearers. And I want to borrow one word from the moderator, the person of Dr. Adeboye, what he said about the local government. What Mr. President said. Mr. President is very passionate.
They are not here in Abuja. 80% of them they are in Abuja. There is a need for us to decentralize the activities. If you look at all these key indices that you mentioned, accessibility, employment, social protection, 15 states that we are not demonstrated, they have been all of them, they are states. We cannot be continuing how contributing drinking tea here in Abuja without coordinated. Social protection policy is very, very key. How are we doing to make sure majority of the state demonstrated policy that is gap in policy and implementation? The policy will be implemented, the bill will be accepted, but when it comes for the issue of implementation, this is the way how we have issue. So with this goal, we are coming together. I assure you 100% support. If you look at the representative of the government, why? Because we need one another as well. There must be a kind of vertical and horizontal alignment policy. The government have to do their own part. OPD, they have to do their own part, and other development partners. In this whole year, we have the representative of the Ministry of Humanitarian and Poverty Alleviation, who is also here. We have SSA for persons with disability. 80% of activities of the humanitarian is for persons with disability. You can see the way how we've been elaborated and coordinated about the policy. I want to also appeal so that we have to translate this report into accessible format to other language so that it will go down in the level. I remember that the time that we wrote a report, a framework for local government accessibility, which is very, very key when we are doing work coordinating with the Association of the Local Government of Nigeria and other level bodies, and one of the players mentioned about the governors. If you look at one of the mandate that Mr. President gave me, is actually yes, with the governors at the subnational to make sure that their policy plan and program is one inclusive. And I have been engaging with the governors at the state level to make sure that they demonstrate this social protection and the state that they do. Even I mentioned in my speech that very soon we are going to embark in sensitization. Why? Because another thing accepting the bill is other thing for you to do. You can see how we are struggling. We struggle for the implementation of designing and accepting of the National Disability Act, and now we are still ahead. We are still advocating for the implementation. So I'm very much happy on behalf of Mr. President. It is my singular honor and privilege, and on behalf of 35 Nigerian persons with disability, I'm here to launch this book. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir. I would also, so I also want to bring forward the representative of the Minister of State for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, that is ably represented here by Mr. Kolawole Idowu Julius, who is the Director of Disability at the Ministry. Please let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I'm not the director yet. Just here to represent the ministry, actually the province of state that will be here. But because of this busy schedule, not make it. So my director also was not really fine. That was why he asked me to represent the ministry. So far so good. Want to appreciate Project Enable Africa and the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities for this great report. It emerged to on our part and it's achieving this. And we also want to say that inclusion issue is a collective responsibility. And it's always said that a tree cannot make a forest. So we have to work together, all hands must be on deck. And as the chairman would have said, that I will move from advocacy to accountability. You know, it's time that we have to move from okay, we are planning to implementation, from planning to implementation, from intention to action. You know, we have to work together to make sure that the discrimination against Persons with Disability Provision Act 2018 is actually implemented, not just documented. And I pray that God will help us as individual, as MBAs, as a country as a whole. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much. So I'll also bring up all the ministries that are present here to join in launching this. I will just read out some of them, and in case I leave any out, please help me know that. I want to bring up the representative of the Permanent Secretary of Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, the Director of Gender, Adolescent, School, Health and Elderly, that's Gashi Division. Thank you so much. You're welcome, sir. Mr. Enei Kazian, AO, the Director of Basic Education, representing the Ministry of Education, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education. Please, you're welcome. Please let's appreciate him as he comes forward. Mrs. Yenami Margaret from the National Orientation Agency. Please, you're welcome. As you can see, all these ministries have been mentioned, in the course of the report and in the, in our advocacy for continuance and for the implementation of this. Please let's welcome Engineer Amoze Ernest, who is representing the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. Thank you. Also, let's bring up Ngozi Anuku, representative of the Ministry of Labor. You're welcome, ma'am.
The woman can okay. So that we'll have gender balance gender.
Also, let's bring up Mr. Ayuba Richard Dapon, representing the Permanent Secretary of Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. If there are other ministries present here that I've not mentioned, please kindly indicate so that we recognize.
Commission is not part of.
No, I'm bringing it. Please, Michael, I can see.
Commission,
We can't do this without
you are the
so-
host.
I'm the all the panel. All right. I also want to bring up representative of the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, National Bureau of Statistics. Please let's welcome them. Also, the representative of the National Directorate of Employment. Please let's welcome her. Oh, let's welcome in. You're welcome, sir. All right. Also, representative of the National Population Commission. Please let's appreciate them as they come up. Okay. So I'll also bring. She has been our panelist before now. That's representative of the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability. Please let's make welcome. Welcome. Also representing part of the committee or community of persons with disability and OPDs, Dr. Chike. Don't go yet, sir.
No, I'm not going.
Okay, I'm bringing you up now. Okay. Yes. So please let's recognize Ekaite Umar to join us upstage as we launch this. We also have representative of the Ministry of Interior. Please let's appreciate and recognize them as they come to join us.
So let me balance it again. The wheelchair will not get.
I think you need to be on the other side.
Oh, okay, the woman should be there. Let's say you fit the mission.
Dr. Adebayo, we have to keep questions, please.
Please watch your legs. Please watch your legs.
Okay, I also want to bring the representative of GIZ to please also join us as we launch this. And then to the owner of this document, the National Commission of Persons with Disabilities. That's the Executive Secretary represented here today by Barrister Ikem Uchegulam. Please, let's put our hands together.
Please protect protect that.
All right. So we are all launching the report together. That's why we are here, and we are all representing ourselves, and others are not here. All right. So our SSA and the representative of the executive secretary and every one of us, we're going to launch this report. Thank God that money is not involved. I know the government people would have said, all right, that this is for a mission and a purpose. So I just want us to go ahead and launch it. I don't think, let's just unveil it. Um,
I think we can hold couple to we can unveil it
and launch it at the same time. In the name of Allah, Shihod. In the name of Allah, the beneficial and the merciful, it is my singular honor and privilege on behalf of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, and the 35.1 million Nigerians living with different forms with disability on the key implicated partners here, representative of the MDS, National Commission for Persons with Disability, our coordinator in the UN Disability Inclusion, representative of the minister, and the project in delivery and the sponsor. I hereby unveil this State of Disability Inclusion Report 2024. God bless Nigeria. God bless community of persons with disability. God bless Project Enabling. God bless all MDS. God bless Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President. God bless our movie and disability inclusion expert. No, you might have good.
all right. Are we through? And you're good. All right. Everybody say Project Enable.
Project Enable.
One more time, Project Enable.
Project Enable.
So we have been enabled. I'm taking my copy here. We are back.
Thank you so much for this wonderful. So we all got them.
Are you going now?
Can you take talk back to
Today social media will haram.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Good to see you again. Just stick like that.
Hey, yo, action.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. So After that launch, um, we can now actually close this event. But before we do that, I actually want to thank every one of you for being here. I know some of us have been here even before 9 o'clock, and you are all so much appreciated. And of course, I want to especially thank Honorable Mohammed Abba Issa, the SSA. Thank you for being here so much. I thank the representative of our executive secretary of NCPWD, that's Chief Ayuba Unwan, and of course his representative is ably represented by Barrister Ikem Uche Gunlam. Okay, all right. We are meeting for the second time. I really want to thank every ministry, every agency represented here. You've all made this event a huge success. If you were not here, I'm so sure we'll just talk to the hair and nothing will happen. So, to every representative of the National Council for People Living with Disabilities here. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Olubukola Debayo. Thank you so much. And our panelists also, I want to thank you also especially. Madam Uche Andrew, thank you. Barrister Kim, thank you once again. Madam Ikaite, thank you so much. Dr. Chike, thank you so much. So nice meeting you. Thank you, every one of you. How can I forget the media? Media, thank you so very much for the great jobs all of you have done here today. Thank you for helping us in popularizing this report. We're so grateful. And of course, the management of Transcorp also, we thank you so much. All right, the interpreters too are predestined. Thank you, interpreters. We really appreciate all what all of you have done. I know it's weekend. I wish every one of us a very great weekend ahead. God bless you all. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. There's refreshment outside, just outside the corridor. Please be a part of it. And of course, the report is available to be downloaded, including the accessible format also.